I never imagined the person I trusted above all could betray me so completely. After 8 years of marriage, I thought our bond, the life we'd built, and the promises we'd exchanged were solid, but I was about to discover how fragile that faith was. The truth arrived in the most humiliating, unmistakable way, through her closest friend. It began on an ordinary Saturday when Lisa dropped by. I had just wrapped up a long, draining week at work, and was craving a quiet night in. My wife and Lisa were in the kitchen, laughing at something I didn't catch. I went to the fridge for a drink and nearly walked away, intending to leave them to their conversation. But then a line cut through the casual chatter that stopped me cold. Lisa, not knowing I was listening, said something along the lines of, "I can't believe you're still hiding this from him. How long did you plan to keep sneaking around?" For a moment I thought I had misheard, but she repeated it more plainly, warning her friend to be careful because once I knew there would be no turning back. It hit me like a blow. The woman I loved was two-timing me, and I had been oblivious. I wanted to explode, to confront her immediately, but instead I forced myself to step back and collect proof. Over the next several days I watched closely. I monitored her phone, paid attention to messages, noted late nights at work and explanations that never quite made sense. Outwardly I stayed composed, acting as if life went on unchanged, but inwardly I was furious. Every affectionate gesture from her began to feel false. The more I uncovered, the clearer it became how brazen and extensive her deception had been. I refused to let anger drive me to a messy scene. I wanted something clever and undeniable, something that would let her feel the full weight of what she'd done without the cheap satisfaction of knowing she'd hurt me. I started altering my routines and engineering situations that would expose her without alerting her to my knowledge. I acted absorbed in work and left the house more often while keeping a careful watch. I even edged closer to Lisa, without revealing I already knew, and those small slips she made only tighten the case against my wife. Then, when the clues lined up, the moment I'd been waiting for arrived. My wife arranged a rendezvous she believed to be secret, convinced I would never discover it. Thanks to the hints Lisa had let drop, I knew when and where, and I followed her with calculated caution. Watching from a distance as she met the man she'd been seeing for months twisted my chest with a mix of heartbreak and rage. But I kept my composure. My plan was not for a dramatic scene. It had to be precise and humiliating in a way that would leave a permanent mark. I began leaving subtle but unmistakable traces around the house. Messages, objects, little reminders that signaled I was aware and always one step ahead. Each morning there was another piece of the puzzle for her to find. The real turning point came when I invited Lisa over for an ordinary coffee, deliberately steering the conversation until she understood I had pieced everything together. Her reaction was everything I expected. Fear, guilt, and the dawning realization that she had unwittingly helped reveal the truth. Finally, I confronted my wife with a cold, controlled clarity rather than with anger or tears. I presented every fact in order, laying out what I had discovered and how I had found it. She watched as color left her face and the defenses she tried to raise dissolved. Her lies and excuses crumbled under the evidence. I did not shout. I did not beg. I told her our marriage was finished, and that she would have to face the consequences of her choices. In the weeks that followed, the responses from friends and family ranged from stunned to confused. Many asked how I had discovered the betrayal. I kept Lisa's accidental role to myself, and said only that the truth has a way of emerging, and that falsehoods do not stand forever. Seeing my wife confronted with the consequences of her actions, and unable to manipulate the situation anymore felt like vindication. It was not violent retribution or theatrical drama but a quiet, undeniable reckoning that cut deeper than anything explosive could. Afterward I turned inward and began to rebuild, restoring my confidence, restoring trust in myself, and severing ties with people who had betrayed me while leaning on the friends who stood by me. The pain never entirely vanished, but the knowledge that I had chosen patience, strategy, and dignity over rash reaction made the aftermath bearable. That single slip from a friend changed everything. One moment I believed I had a perfect, secure life. The next I had to face betrayal, unravel deceit, and carry out a plan that exposed the truth. Through it all I learned something about my own strength and restraint. If there is one thing I want others to take from my experience, it is this. Betrayal hurts, but it can also reveal your capacity for calm and resolve. You do not always need to answer pain with fury. Sometimes a deliberate, measured response leaves a far deeper impression. My wife will not soon forget the day her secrets were exposed, a result of a careless confession, patient investigation, and a husband who refused to be treated as a victim.